Welcome, seekers of the arcane and forgotten. Today, we plunge into the shadows of history on a quest for one of the most legendary relics ever whispered about, the Book of Thoth. Said to grant unimaginable wisdom and power, this ancient Egyptian text has eluded scholars, mystics, and treasure hunters for centuries. But that's just the beginning. From lost Atlantean crystals to the Ark of the Covenant, we're uncovering the truth behind the world's most mysterious artifacts. Grab your gear, our hunt for the secrets of the ancients begins now. Legendary artifacts, mystical relics across cultures. These objects, imbued with divine origins, immense power, or hidden wisdom, often serve as keys to understanding ancient beliefs and cosmologies. Like the Ark of the Covenant, which housed the stone tablets of divine law, or the Spear of Destiny, believed to grant invincibility, these artifacts blur the lines between history, myth, and spiritual metaphor. This article explores other legendary artifacts from various traditions, analyzing their lore, purpose, and the symbolic weight they carried in their respective cultures. While not all may be historical in the strict sense, their impact on collective imagination is undeniable. 1. The Ark of the Covenant, Hebrew Bible. Before delving into other artifacts, it's worth briefly revisiting the Ark of the Covenant. According to the Bible, the Ark was a gold-covered wooden chest built at the command of God, designed to house the tablets of the law, the Ten Commandments. It was carried by the Israelites and guided them through the desert, parting the Jordan River and bringing down the walls of Jericho. Symbolic meaning: the Ark represented the divine presence of God, a portable throne, a sacred conduit of power, and the embodiment of the covenant between Yahweh and the Israelites. 2. The Emerald Tablet, Hermetic Tradition. The Emerald Tablet, attributed to the legendary Hermes Trismegistus, is a cryptic, compact text said to contain the secrets of alchemy and the structure of the universe. Its most famous line is, "As above, so below." The tablet supposedly describes how all things originate from a single source and how transformation, especially spiritual, follows universal laws. Though often imagined as an actual physical tablet made of green stone, its existence is more symbolic and literary than historical. Symbolic meaning: the Emerald Tablet stands as a metaphysical code, pointing to unity between the material and the spiritual realms. Alchemists believed it contained the key to the Philosopher's Stone, an object capable of transmuting base metals into gold and granting immortality. 3. The Spear of Destiny, Christian and European legend. Also called the Holy Lance or Lance of Longinus, the Spear of Destiny is believed to be the weapon that a Roman soldier, Longinus, used to pierce the side of Jesus during the crucifixion. Legends claim that whoever possesses the spear holds the power to control the fate of the world. It reportedly passed through the hands of powerful figures like Charlemagne and Hitler. Though historical claims are dubious, the spear remains a potent icon in Christian lore and conspiracy theories. Symbolic meaning: the spear represents divine authority and the dual nature of suffering and salvation, reflecting how an act of violence became an instrument of revelation. 4. Tablets of Destiny, Mesopotamian myth. In Sumerian and Babylonian mythology, the Tablets of Destiny were inscribed objects that granted supreme authority to gods who possessed them. The tablets were central to the power struggles between divine beings like Enlil, Anu, and the monstrous bird god Enzu, who once stole them to usurp control of the cosmos. The possession of these tablets meant dominion over fate, order, and law, often determining who ruled both the heavens and the earth. Symbolic meaning: they symbolize the absolute authority of divine will, the cosmic equivalent of legal writs that uphold the fabric of the universe. Now, let's explore other legendary artifacts from diverse traditions that carry a similar weight of mythic or mystical significance. 5. Excalibur, Arthurian legend. Excalibur, the sword of King Arthur, is perhaps the most famous legendary weapon in Western myth. Sometimes distinguished from the sword in the stone, Excalibur was said to be given to Arthur by the Lady of the Lake, granting him rightful kingship and unassailable power. In some versions, Excalibur's scabbard was even more powerful than the sword; it prevented the bearer from losing blood in battle. Symbolic meaning: Excalibur represents divine legitimacy, truth, and the burden of leadership. As a relic tied to both magic and monarchy, it serves as a bridge between the mundane and the mythic. 6. The Black Stone, Islamic tradition. Housed in the Kaaba in Mecca, the Black Stone is an Islamic relic believed by many to have descended from heaven. According to tradition, the Prophet Muhammad placed the stone in the Kaaba after a tribal dispute and revered it as part of the pilgrimage rites, Hajj. Though venerated, the stone is not worshipped. It serves as a symbolic connection to the divine and the shared heritage of Abrahamic monotheism. Symbolic meaning: the black stone symbolizes unity, purification, and the eternal bond between God and humanity through submission and remembrance. 7. The Seal of Solomon, Jewish and Islamic lore. The Seal of Solomon, often depicted as a hexagram or a five-pointed star, was a signet ring said to be owned by King Solomon. This magical artifact supposedly gave him the power to command demons, speak with animals, and wield control over the natural world. Islamic tradition also embraces this idea, portraying Solomon as a prophet king with divine wisdom and the ability to subjugate jinn. Symbolic meaning: the seal is a symbol of wisdom, divine favor, and control over hidden forces, both spiritual and intellectual. 8. The Philosopher's Stone, Alchemy. A cornerstone of Western alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone was a legendary substance said to turn base metals into gold and grant eternal life through the elixir of life. Alchemists pursued this object as both a physical goal and a spiritual metaphor for inner transformation. Though it never existed materially, it has become one of the most enduring symbols in esoteric traditions. Symbolic meaning: the Philosopher's Stone is the ultimate symbol of transformation, representing both material wealth and spiritual enlightenment, the journey from ignorance to wisdom. 9. The 13 Crystal Skulls, Mesoamerican myth. Crystal skulls are carvings from quartz that resemble human skulls. Though their exact origin is debated, they are often attributed, without clear evidence, to ancient Mesoamerican civilizations like the Maya or Aztec. New Age legends claim that the skulls contain sacred knowledge, healing powers, or data left by an ancient civilization or even extraterrestrials. Symbolic meaning: they symbolize hidden knowledge, the power of the human mind, and the idea that consciousness can be preserved or transferred. 10. Mjolnir, Norse mythology. Mjolnir is the hammer of the Norse god Thor, a weapon capable of leveling mountains and summoning lightning. Forged by dwarves, it always returns to Thor's hand when thrown and is one of the most recognizable symbols in Norse mythology. In rituals, Mjolnir was used to bless weddings and births, highlighting its dual nature as both a destructive and protective tool. Symbolic meaning: Mjolnir embodies strength, protection, divine justice, and the cyclical nature of life and death. 11. The Stone of Scone, Scottish legend. Also known as the Stone of Destiny, this artifact was used in the coronation of Scottish, and later British, monarchs. It was believed to confer divine approval for kingship. Its origins are shrouded in legend, with some claiming it came from biblical lands or even Jacob's dream in Genesis. Symbolic meaning: the Stone of Scone symbolizes sovereignty, heritage, and continuity, serving as a physical anchor for the concept of rightful rule. 12. The Book of Thoth, Egyptian myth. Said to have been written by the god Thoth, this mythical book contains secrets of the universe, including spells to understand animals, control the heavens, and resurrect the dead. Those who read it were granted ultimate knowledge, but at great peril. Egyptian tales often warn that the book is both a gift and a curse, accessible only to the worthy, or doomed. Symbolic meaning: it represents divine knowledge, forbidden wisdom, and the dangers of overreaching human boundaries. 13. The Sankara Stones, Hindu tradition. Popularized in modern culture by Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the Sankara stones are loosely based on Hindu concepts of sacred relics imbued with divine power. While there is no exact one-to-one myth, many lingams, stones representing Shiva, are worshipped for their spiritual energy. Symbolic meaning: these stones embody divine force, fertility, and the cosmic creative power inherent in deities. 14. The Cintamani Stone, Buddhist and Hindu lore. The Cintamani is a mythical wish-fulfilling jewel, comparable to the Philosopher's Stone or the Holy Grail. In Buddhist and Hindu traditions, it grants enlightenment, wisdom, and material fulfillment. It is sometimes said to fall from the sky or be carried by mythical beings like Nagas or Bodhisattvas. Symbolic meaning: the Cintamani represents purity of intention, spiritual fulfillment, and the ultimate realization of desire in harmony with the cosmos. The eternal echo of myth. Across cultures and epochs, the stories of legendary artifacts reflect a universal human longing for wisdom, power, protection, and connection with the divine. Whether rooted in religion, royal myth, or esoteric traditions, these relics often serve as mirrors of inner transformation. Their stories persist not necessarily because they physically existed, but because they speak to something timeless, the idea that there is a hidden key, a sacred object, that can unlock truth, destiny, and transcendence. In a world constantly changing, these artifacts remain fixed points of fascination, reminders that myth is not a thing of the past, but a living current flowing through the human spirit. Mysteries of the ancient world. Throughout history, humanity has been captivated by the mysteries of ancient civilizations. From myths passed down through generations to clues uncovered by modern archaeology, there has always been a sense that the ancient world holds secrets just waiting to be discovered. Among the most enduring and tantalizing mysteries are those surrounding potential hidden locations, areas rumored to contain lost knowledge, sacred relics, or evidence of advanced ancient technology. Some of the most intriguing sites include the area beneath the Great Sphinx of Giza, the fabled Library of Alexandria, and the secret chambers that may lie within Egypt's towering pyramids. This essay explores the historical background, theories, and ongoing investigations into these enigmatic places. Beneath the Sphinx, the Hall of Records. The Great Sphinx of Giza, a colossal limestone statue with the body of a lion and the head of a human, has stood guard on the Giza Plateau for thousands of years. Mainstream Egyptologists date its construction to around 2500 BCE, during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre. However, alternative historians and researchers have suggested that the Sphinx could be far older, perhaps predating dynastic Egypt entirely. One of the most persistent legends concerning the Sphinx is that of the Hall of Records, a mythical subterranean chamber believed to contain ancient texts, advanced knowledge, or even technology from a lost civilization, such as Atlantis. This idea was popularized by the American psychic Edgar Cayce in the early 20th century, who claimed to have received visions of the Hall of Records located beneath the Sphinx's right paw. According to Cayce, this hidden library was placed there by survivors of Atlantis to preserve their wisdom for future generations. Though dismissed by mainstream scholars as pseudoscience, Cayce's vision sparked significant public interest. In the 1990s, a team led by geophysicist Thomas Dobecki and seismologist Thomas L. Dobek conducted a seismic survey around the Sphinx and discovered anomalous cavities and voids beneath it, particularly in front of the statue. While these findings do not confirm the existence of a hidden library, they do suggest that underground structures or natural voids are present. Egyptian authorities have traditionally been cautious about exploring beneath the Sphinx, citing concerns about preserving the monument. Nonetheless, the tantalizing idea that something extraordinary may lie beneath its paws continues to fuel both academic debate and public fascination. The Lost Library of Alexandria, a treasure consumed by time. The Library of Alexandria is perhaps the most famous example of lost ancient knowledge. Founded in the 3rd century BCE in Alexandria, Egypt, by order of Ptolemy Isoter or his successor Ptolemy II, the library aimed to collect every book in the world. It was part of the larger Mouseion, a temple of the Muses, which functioned as a major center for scholarly study in the Hellenistic world. Estimates suggest that the library housed anywhere from 40,000 to 400,000 scrolls, containing works in philosophy, science, mathematics, literature, and history, many of which have been lost to time. The destruction of the library has become a symbol of cultural loss, but how it was destroyed remains unclear. Historical accounts suggest several possible incidents: a fire set by Julius Caesar's troops in 48 BCE, damage during the reign of Emperor Aurelian in the 3rd century CE, or neglect and eventual disuse during the rise of Christianity and Islamic rule in later centuries. While the original Library of Alexandria is believed to have been destroyed, some researchers speculate that portions of its collection may have survived, either hidden away in secret locations or copied and stored in other libraries. One such theory posits that some scrolls may have been moved to a daughter library in the Serapeum, a temple dedicated to the Greco-Egyptian deity Serapis. Others believe that monastic libraries throughout the Middle East or Europe could have absorbed remnants of the collection. Modern archaeological investigations in Alexandria have yielded fascinating finds, including submerged ruins off the city's coast and extensive catacombs, raising hopes that further excavations could reveal clues about the lost library's fate. The discovery of a hidden chamber containing even a fraction of the original scrolls would represent one of the greatest intellectual recoveries in human history. Secret chambers in the pyramids, hidden engineering marvels. The pyramids of Egypt, particularly the Great Pyramid of Giza, are marvels of ancient engineering. Constructed during the 4th dynasty, around 2560 BCE, the Great Pyramid was built for Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops, and originally stood over 480 feet tall. For centuries, researchers have been puzzled by how the ancient Egyptians were able to construct such precise and massive structures using primitive tools and techniques. The pyramid has long been suspected to contain hidden passages and chambers. While several internal structures are known, including the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery, these only occupy a small portion of the pyramid's internal volume. In 2017, an international team of researchers using cosmic ray muon detection technology announced the discovery of a previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery. This big void, roughly 30 meters long, has not yet been accessed or fully understood. This discovery reignited speculation that there may be more secret chambers within the pyramid, potentially containing funerary items, ceremonial objects, or even lost texts. Some fringe theories suggest these chambers may conceal evidence of lost civilizations or advanced ancient technologies. While these claims are not supported by mainstream archaeology, they do reflect a widespread sense that the pyramids may still have secrets to yield. The exact purpose of the newly discovered void is still unknown. It could be a structural feature to reduce weight or a previously undocumented corridor or room. Until further exploration is permitted, the chamber remains one of Egypt's most tantalizing mysteries. Myths, speculations, and the allure of the hidden. So why do these legends of hidden locations persist? Part of the allure lies in the universal human desire to believe that ancient people knew more than we think they did, that they may have accessed knowledge or technology we've since lost. Stories of hidden chambers and lost libraries offer a romantic view of history in which wisdom, rather than war, is the great inheritance of civilization. In the case of the Sphinx, the theory of a hall of records ties into larger themes about ancient civilizations possessing advanced knowledge, perhaps even extraterrestrial in origin. While such theories are not taken seriously by most academics, they reflect a broader cultural fascination with lost wisdom and the potential for humanity to rediscover forgotten truths. The lost library of Alexandria represents a very real loss. Unlike the more speculative Hall of Records, the library once existed and was a beacon of human achievement. The idea that parts of it might have survived, hidden in monasteries, secret chambers, or buried ruins, is an especially poignant hope, hinting at the possibility that we might yet reclaim some of that lost intellectual heritage. The pyramids, meanwhile, continue to captivate due to their enduring mystery and the incredible ingenuity required to build them. The idea that they may contain hidden chambers or secrets appeals to both scientific curiosity and a deep desire for wonder. Modern technology and future discoveries. What sets our current era apart is the technology now available to explore these hidden locations. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR, LiDAR, 3D scanning, and muon tomography are revolutionizing the field of archaeology, allowing researchers to peer inside structures without damaging them. In the case of the Sphinx, non-invasive methods have already revealed subterranean anomalies. If permission is granted by Egyptian authorities, future exploration could determine whether these are natural formations or man-made chambers. Likewise, the muon detection methods used in the pyramids could help map internal voids and corridors without a single stone being moved. As for the Library of Alexandria, underwater archaeology and urban excavation projects in modern-day Alexandria continue to yield exciting results. Submerged ruins, collapsed temples, and forgotten tunnels may yet hide fragments of ancient texts or provide clues about the city's intellectual past. The eternal quest for lost knowledge. Hidden chambers, lost scrolls, secret passages, these are not just the stuff of legend, but symbols of a deeper human longing. We yearn to understand where we came from, to grasp the full measure of what our ancestors knew and achieved. Whether it is the Hall of Records beneath the Sphinx, the remnants of the Library of Alexandria, or secret voids within the pyramids, these mysteries serve as reminders that history is never truly settled. There are always new questions to ask, new discoveries to make, and new stories waiting to be told. The enduring fascination with these ancient enigmas speaks to something eternal in the human spirit, the belief that beyond the veil of what is known lies a richer, more profound reality. It is a belief that drives scholars to dig, scientists to scan, and dreamers to imagine. And perhaps one day, the the secrets of these hidden places will be revealed, not just to satisfy curiosity, but to illuminate a forgotten chapter of our shared human story. Secret societies and protectors of ancient knowledge. Hermeticism is one of the oldest philosophical systems associated with hidden knowledge. Rooted in the teachings attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, a mythical fusion of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek Hermes, Hermeticism blends Egyptian, Greek, and later Gnostic philosophies into a spiritual doctrine. Though its exact origins are murky, Hermetic writings emerged during the Hellenistic period, around the 2nd and 3rd century CE, flourishing particularly in Alexandria, a melting pot of mystical traditions. The core texts of Hermeticism, known collectively as the Corpus Hermeticum, discuss themes such as the nature of the divine, the human soul, the cosmos, and spiritual rebirth. Central to Hermetic philosophy is the principle of, as above, so below, the belief in a mirrored relationship between the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the individual. This idea underpins alchemy, astrology, and other occult sciences, suggesting that by understanding oneself, one can understand the universe. Hermeticism emphasizes inner transformation, gnosis, direct knowledge of the divine, and the idea that humanity contains a divine spark capable of returning to its source. In this sense, Hermeticists serve as custodians of a spiritual path that predates organized religion, offering an alternative framework for understanding the mysteries of existence. By the Middle Ages and Renaissance, Hermetic texts were rediscovered and translated, notably influencing scholars, alchemists, and mystics across Europe. Figures like Marsilio Ficino and Giordano Bruno saw Hermeticism as a key to unlocking ancient wisdom, leading to a Hermetic revival that shaped Western esotericism for centuries. The secrecy surrounding these teachings often stemmed from the persecution of heretical views, necessitating underground networks and symbolic communication. Rosicrucianism, mystical brotherhood of the Rose and Cross. The Rosicrucians emerged in the early 17th century, seemingly out of nowhere, with the publication of 3 mysterious manifestos, the Fama Fraternitatis, 1614, Confessio Fraternitatis, 1615, and the Chimical Wedding of Christian Rosencreuz, 1616. These texts introduced the world to the Fraternity of the Rosy Cross, a secret brotherhood devoted to spiritual enlightenment, esoteric science, and societal reform. The manifestos describe a legendary founder, Christian Rosencreuz, a German nobleman who traveled to the Middle East in search of ancient knowledge. After acquiring mystical wisdom, he returned to Europe to establish a secret order dedicated to the betterment of mankind through hidden truths and scientific advancement. The Rosicrucians purportedly remained hidden for 120 years before revealing themselves to an increasingly corrupt and chaotic world. Whether Christian Rosencreuz ever existed is beside the point. The myth of his journey and the ideals of the Rosicrucians captured the imagination of countless seekers. The movement blended Hermetic, alchemical, Christian, and Kabbalistic traditions into a visionary program that called for a reformation of knowledge, religion, and politics. Unlike traditional religious institutions, Rosicrucianism emphasized personal enlightenment, the harmony of science and spirituality, and the idea that divine wisdom could be rediscovered through inner exploration and alchemical transformation. While no historical Rosicrucian order has been definitively verified from the 1600s, the impact of the manifestos was profound. They inspired countless esoteric groups, speculative philosophers, and even Enlightenment thinkers. Later, in the 18th and 19th centuries, societies claiming Rosicrucian lineage began to emerge, often combining Masonic structure with Rosicrucian mythos. These modern iterations see themselves as heirs to an ancient current of wisdom, preserving sacred knowledge for those deemed worthy to receive it. Freemasonry, builders of the invisible temple. Perhaps the most widely recognized of the secret societies, Freemasonry traces its origins to the stonemason guilds of medieval Europe. These guilds were originally practical associations of skilled craftsmen, but over time they evolved into symbolic or speculative masonry, an allegorical system using the tools and language of architecture to convey spiritual and moral lessons. By the early 18th century, Freemasonry had transformed into a formal fraternity with lodges, rituals, and degrees of initiation. The founding of the Grand Lodge of England in 1717 marks the beginning of modern Freemasonry, which quickly spread across Europe and the Americas. Despite its public presence, Masonry retained a private, ritualistic core, centered around the construction of a metaphorical temple, not of stone, but of the human soul. Masonic teachings are not dogmatic but rather philosophical, encouraging members to seek truth, practice virtue, and cultivate self-knowledge. The fraternity emphasizes brotherhood, charity, and the search for the great architect of the universe, a symbolic representation of the divine. Rituals involve dramatic allegories based on the biblical story of Hiram Abiff, the legendary builder of Solomon's temple, whose death and resurrection symbolize the aspirant's own spiritual journey. Freemasonry absorbed influences from Hermeticism, Rosicrucianism, Kabbalah, and Enlightenment rationalism, creating a rich tapestry of esoteric symbolism. While it does not claim to preserve a specific ancient text or teaching, it positions itself as a repository of timeless truths embedded in allegory and tradition. Its hierarchical structure, use of secret signs and symbols, and emphasis on moral initiation have made it a subject of fascination, and often suspicion. Throughout history, Freemasons have been accused of conspiracies by both religious and political authorities, sometimes leading to suppression or persecution. Nevertheless, its legacy persists, with millions of members worldwide and a lasting impact on Western culture, politics, and spiritual thought. A shared legacy of secrecy and illumination. Despite their differences, Hermeticists, Rosicrucians, and Freemasons share several key characteristics that define their roles as protectors of ancient knowledge. 1. Esotericism and initiation. All three traditions emphasize esoteric knowledge, wisdom hidden from the masses and accessible only through initiation, inner transformation, or symbolic understanding. Their teachings are not simply intellectual but experiential, requiring the seeker to undergo a personal journey of enlightenment. 2. Allegory and symbolism. Each group communicates its teachings through symbols, allegories, and metaphors. From the Hermetic axiom, as above, so below, to the Rosicrucian rose and cross, and the Masonic square and compass, these symbols serve as keys to deeper truths, accessible only to those who learn to interpret them. 3. Synthesis of traditions. Rather than representing isolated dogmas, these societies synthesize elements from various mystical and philosophical systems, Greek philosophy, Egyptian religion, Jewish Kabbalah, Christian mysticism, and alchemy, into a cohesive spiritual worldview. 4. Secrecy and protection. Their secrecy is both practical and symbolic. Historically, esoteric teachings could provoke persecution by religious or political authorities, necessitating coded language and secret gatherings. Symbolically, secrecy reinforces the idea that sacred knowledge must be earned, not given freely, reflecting the initiatory path of the seeker. Enduring influence and modern revival. Though modern society is more secular and scientific, interest in secret societies and ancient wisdom persists. In part, this reflects a yearning for deeper meaning in an age of information overload and spiritual fragmentation. The symbolic languages of these societies, alchemy, sacred geometry, numerology, astrology, offer alternative ways of understanding reality beyond conventional paradigms. Modern Hermetic groups such as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, contemporary Rosicrucian organizations like Amorc, ancient mystical order Rosicrucis, and various Masonic bodies continue to attract members seeking personal development and spiritual insight. These groups often present themselves not as keepers of secret power, but as stewards of a sacred tradition that invites the sincere and humble seeker into communion with ancient wisdom. Moreover, the influence of these societies extends beyond their membership. Masonic architecture, Rosicrucian imagery, and Hermetic principles have shaped everything from national symbols, such as the U.S. Great Seal, to literary works, films, and modern occult movements. The eternal flame of hidden wisdom. Hermeticists, Rosicrucians, and Freemasons represent more than mysterious organizations shrouded in secrecy, they are heirs to a lineage of spiritual exploration that spans millennia. By preserving and transmitting esoteric knowledge through symbolic teachings, rituals, and myths, they offer a path for those seeking more than material answers, a path that leads inward, to the divine spark within. Their continued presence in the modern world speaks to the enduring human desire to connect with something greater, to uncover the truths hidden beneath the surface of ordinary life. Whether one views them with skepticism or reverence, these secret societies stand as monuments to the age-old quest for wisdom, transformation, and illumination. And so, our journey through lost scrolls, ancient tombs, and forbidden knowledge comes to an end, for now. The Book of Thoth remains hidden, but every clue brings us closer to unlocking its secrets. What do you believe, myth or hidden truth waiting to be discovered? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the adventure, like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next dive into history's greatest mysteries. Until then, stay curious, stay bold, and remember, the past is never truly buried.